What's going on, ladies and germs? Just wanted to give a quick update for any of y'all who may be wondering, asking, so on, saw some of the other just videos or whatnot. So yeah, last Friday, this is Monday or Tuesday? This is Tuesday, because classes started yesterday. Yeah, this is Tuesday. So last Friday, had the first Zoom meeting. I was trying to keep it for locals and whatnot. And even though I supposedly had 5 people sign up, 1 showed. We had a good discussion. It went for over 2 hours. Talked about all kinds of stuff. I am working on that video. Thought I had a graphics program on my computer for video editing. The laptop doesn't. The desktop does. I do most of my work from the laptop. So I ended up having to download a video editing program, and I'm working on it, and I'm cutting it down into different slices. So I think I'm done with the first slice. It's converting things and saving them for right now. Henceforth why I'm out here making this quick update. So no, the meeting went well or whatnot with just the 2 of us. Like I said, we just kind of bullshitted about whatever, and trying to cut it up into sections. Originally I was thinking it'd probably be about 2 or 3 videos, maybe more than that. I'll get them uploaded just as soon as I can. But it's a little tedious finding the stopping points and starting points, but it's all right. I'll get it done. And I'll get it uploaded for you guys. So that's that. That's an update. As I said, classes started back yesterday for me, Monday, 23rd. Going good. I'm enjoying this creative writing class, and then I'll have a editing for publishing and whatnot class about a week after that one ends, which I'm actually looking forward to that one too. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's just going through the material and reading the book. First couple sections in the book yesterday gave me an idea for one of the short stories in the collection that I was telling y'all about, and so I went back and started reworking that story. Different format as well as a totally different viewpoint and direction. Same story, just different viewpoint and direction. So I think it'll be interesting. Got about 3 pages into that one last night when I decided to call it quits with school. Still have it to work on though. It's still in the beginning stages, but I think it's going well and it's flowing well. Let's see, what else is there? Well, Biden just got off of the TV, and good old Psaki was on right before him, and apparently it's almost like they're not talking to each other, because all day they've been saying that news from the White House is that we are leaving Afghanistan regardless by the 31st. Psaki says that we are leaving and that the military has started pulling out and leaving the airport. And then Biden got up there and he said, I've been talking with the G7. Now here's my problem with this. He spends an awful lot of time talking with the G7. The G7 are a bunch of business and corporate leaders They're not national and government leaders. So why in the hell is he talking to them, and why is he talking to them in particular about Afghanistan? But he said that he's been talking with them, talking about our allies, who most of our allies are like, we haven't heard from him. He won't answer our messages or take our calls or whatever. Commander for the British troops and the commander for U.S. troops are butting heads because their orders are conflicting with each other. And but Biden's turned around and said that we're going to get all of the Americans out and putting a priority on them. Well, if our troops are already starting to pull back and come home again, and we're leaving by the 31st, we don't even know where all the Americans are at. A lot of them have had to go into hiding. So how are we going to pull them all out? Fair question, right? I'm telling you, nobody in this administration knows what anybody else is doing. They're not talking to each other. And they're sure as hell ain't giving the American people the truth. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's a mess. The entire government is a mess. Neither the Republicans or the Democrats for Congress or the Senate have done what needed to be done in regards to Afghanistan. They didn't do what needed to be done in regards to us leaving Afghanistan. The civilian contractors that were there and the civilians that were there for charitable organizations and other organizations trying to help out weren't told anything. A lot of them are now going on social media trying to find help, while other organizations, most of them based in America, are trying to figure out how to get people to areas where they can be picked up and taken out of Afghanistan. The government's not helping. And there's videos and feeds and live posts that are coming out on social media from people who are in Afghanistan begging for help, talking about running for their lives and trying to protect their family members. And our government's like, well, everything's okay, we got to deal with the Taliban. The Taliban agrees and we're going to meet the Taliban's deadline, while the other hand of the government says, and we're not going to meet the Taliban's deadline. There's just no way. We've got, I think last estimate was around 87 billion in military equipment and gear that are now in the hands of and belonging to the Taliban. Al-Qaeda is back in Afghanistan, having talks with the Taliban, who we were previously told the Taliban didn't like. China and Russia are in negotiations with the Taliban. Russia wants to build a pipeline through Afghanistan. China wants mineral rights for the mountains in the northeast. And they're probably going to get it. While Biden's trying to tell the American people, China and Russia don't want us to leave Afghanistan. They want us to stay there and keep our military tied up. Nah, they want us out. Because that increases their power and influence. I don't know. I mean, at one point, China was talking about if the Taliban doesn't want to deal with them, then they're just going to march their military in there. And I kind of see, if the Taliban's not willing to negotiate, I could see another Poland situation from World War II, where Russia and Germany both invaded Poland from opposite sides. These two could do it to Afghanistan. People have gone on and on about how Afghanistan's untainable and a bunch of warlord tribe type places, not one generalized country. Well, if Russia and China go in there because they have uses for it and the resources there. You really think they're going to care who they kill off? They're probably going to march through and mow everything down that moves and repopulate it. Or we already know China has no problem with slave labor. They'll just turn everybody into slaves. So, yeah. We still have issues on the southern border. A bunch of people coming through that aren't vetted. We don't know who they are. I believe it was last month there was an announcement coming out of Border Patrol that stated they had apprehended 4 known Taliban affiliates who were on the watch list. Kind of makes you wonder how many more might already be in the country from coming through the southern border. And yet, with the protests, the marches, and everything else going on in Cuba, the federal government is still saying that we're not taking Cuban refugees. If you try to come over here to the U.S., we're just going to put you on a plane and send you back. What's going on with the world, people? I mean, it's not just here in the U.S., it's all across the globe. You didn't think America had an influence or was a stabilizing factor in the way things were across the globe. Well, open your eyes. Because it's becoming pretty obvious that we were. We're not now, but we were. Hell, China's freaking laughing at us. If Biden's really and truly pulling troops out of the airport in Kabul already, we're basically leaving with our tail tucked between our legs. You think anybody's gonna take us serious? On any scale? Whether human rights, civility, soft power influences, economic influence? Nah. They're not gonna see us that way. I mean, hell, a large portion of our population don't even know what bathroom to use. You know, certain circles are starting to talk and they want to know, where's the women's rights movement? Where are the feminists who are normally claiming to champion women's rights all across the globe? Well, where are they in Afghanistan? Social media has videos, reports of executions, rapes, kids being stolen for sex slaves and child trafficking. So where's the women's rights groups and the feminists on that one? Seems to be really weird that a lot of these extreme leftist groups are all of a sudden really, really quiet. Even AOC hasn't had much to say. I actually went and looked at her Twitter feed because I hadn't seen or heard anything from her since this mess started. She's got like 1 or 2 things comments that she's made. She doesn't give a damn. Hell, Trudeau, the Prime Minister for Canada, was on the phone with Hillary Clinton, of all people, because Biden, Pelosi, and Harris wouldn't answer the damn phone. So he called freaking Hillary Clinton. What good does she do? I don't know, guys. The whole world's starting to burn. Really and truly. Look at the draconian lockdowns that are in Australia. I mean, that stuff's horrible. They're killing rescue dogs in masses. in relation to the COVID scare, which I really don't understand that one. You know, if you leave your front door and go more than 3 feet, they're arresting people. Over here, our schools are putting ankle monitors on sports athletes that are not vaccinated so that they can keep track of them. Second-class citizens. Some places are going so far as to separate the vaccinated from the unvaccinated completely. Segregation, anyone? Didn't we have several court cases about this a long time ago? Supreme Court cases about segregation a long time ago, and the final outcome out of the series of cases was that separate is not equal and you can't do it. And yet here we are going right back into it. New York City, New Orleans, San Francisco, and was it Michigan? I think it's one of the cities in Michigan. They've all got vax passports required to go indoors. Period. End of it. And there's no medical exemptions. Even if your doctor sits there and says you can't take the vaccine, it'll kill you, and you actually have some documentation from your primary care physician that says that, they don't care. It's not a valid exemption, so you can't do anything inside unless you're inside your house. Can't go to church, can't go to school, can't eat at a restaurant, can't go to concert venues, comedy shows. Hell, you technically can't even use the damn bathroom. Have fun baking in the sun or freezing in the snow, right? Here in the Charleston area, Charleston County School Board. Charleston County decided not to put in a mask mandate for now. For now, they said that they were going to come back and re-examine it, I believe in September, which is what, a week and a half away. But Charleston County School Board decided to install a mask mandate. Well, 2 or 3 days after that, they made the announcement that they can't punish students for not wearing a mask because that would be a violation of the governor's order, state law. So technically they're playing politics. They're not wrong. The mask mandate is in violation of the governor's order within itself, state law, and the state can choose to take them to court, which the state hasn't made any moves so far. Columbia's in the same boat. Charleston County just followed Columbia. But truth of the matter is, if they install it, once putting in the mandate, if they punished people for it, then the individual parents could turn around and sue under state law. Well, they don't want that. So they were like, well, we're not going to punish kids who don't wear a mask. Even though we have a requirement and a mandate, we're not going to punish kids that don't wear a mask. They're playing politics, and they're looking for these catch-22s. But the truth of the matter is, they're calling it a mandate for the people who were screaming for a mandate, but they're saying they're not punishing, so that the parents who don't want their kids in a mask don't have the ability to sue them in court and get whatever those repercussions would be. Somebody needs to tell that school board they can't please everybody. It's not possible. Dorchester County is requiring masks in all government buildings. Charleston County is requiring masks in all government buildings. Berkeley County, I believe, is doing the same thing. Berkeley County is still discussing and looking at possibly doing a mask mandate for their schools. I'm not sure if they did or not, but they were talking about it. You have the FDA, who has approved the Pfizer vaccine, but from the documentation that I've looked at, when you read the fine print towards the bottom, it says something about testing continuing on through, let me think here, either late October or late November. So I'm not really understanding that. It sounds kind of contradicting to me. But a lot of other supposed leaders are beginning to push for businesses and institutions to require vaccination of their employees. I want to say Washington State, there's a few businesses who have required their employees to be vaccinated, and quite a few of them ended up getting fired because they didn't want it. Hey, that's a personal choice. You know, you've got the freedom to choose. But that doesn't make you free from the consequences of your choice. Does it give them the ability to possibly organize a suit, whether individuals or class action, organize and get a lawsuit against the company for unwrongful termination? Maybe, I don't know. I really don't. I'm not sure what to make of that one. It's kind of like asking, does when you go to work for Amazon, do they want your shot record to make sure that you've had your MMRNA and your tetanus? And some companies do, some companies don't. People are up in arms because some areas, medical practitioners, nurses, and doctors are losing their job because they're not getting the vaccine. And kind of have mixed thoughts on that one. When it was emergency use only, no, I don't think they should have had the ability to do that. Now that it's approved, if it's got if it's completely approved by the FDA, yes, I can see where they have the right to do that. I worked in the hospital. I also worked as an EMT, and there were certain vaccinations and there were certain whatever other things that we had to have. We were required to, otherwise we couldn't work there. And if they pulled a titer on you and you didn't have it, you were required to get it. They did want your updated shot record. I mean, and for the most part, it does make sense to me, from the safety of both the employees but also the patient's perspective. And being a medical facility, I do think they have that right, because they're looking at the safety of the people that are in there, and some of those people are in there for a long period of time. So it does make sense. But at the same time, there's questions about the vaccine, and there's questions about the vaccine approval, because, like I said, there's little notifications and dates in there that aren't making sense to me if it's completely approved. Maybe that's normal for something that's approved by the FDA and put on the market with pharmaceutical companies. I don't know. I don't normally trust new medications. When my doctor wants to give me something, I tell him I'm not taking anything that's new to the market. It has to be on the market for at least 10, 15 years. I don't know. The world's burning down. Nobody knows anything that's going on. Different departments aren't talking to each other. It seems like we have a war going on between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, and neither one of them are getting anywhere. Neither one of them are doing anything. To me, I don't know. They're just lip service to their supposed constituents, trying to tell them, hey, we're working on whatever, or we're fighting against whatever, because that's what they think their constituents want them to do. But I don't see any action behind their words, and honestly, I don't really see a whole lot going. Supposedly we have a new bill that was supposed to be voted on, or is going to be voted on soon, H.R. 4. I have no idea what this bill is about, other than it's got something to do with elections. Which I do have a feeling is unconstitutional, because the scope of what the federal government can do with an election is very, very narrow and in the Constitution. They set the date. That's about it. Everything else is on the states to decide. Well, sorry, the Fed sets the date as far as when the electorals go to Washington to give their whatever, or cast their votes type thing. If a state wanted to hold a presidential election in August, technically they could do it. Of course, that would be kind of hard not knowing who your candidates are, but technically they could do it. Yeah, and then I heard something else about bright early, some morning over the weekend, Pelosi tried to have a vote on this reparations bill. I don't know anything more about that. I don't know if they did. There's rumors that the reparations bill's not even written, which I thought it was in the process of being written like last month, so I don't know. It's just nothing's making sense. Nothing's making sense. If you guys can make sense of something, hit me up, let me know. Maybe y'all know more than I do about what's going on. But like I said, I've been kind of tied up between getting ready for school, putting together a podcast and trying to get that episode out on time, and I don't know. If you're hearing the dryer right now, it's because I got laundry going in the background. So yeah, I got that going on too. Fun day. It'll be alright. I'll live. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'll live. I sun's going down. We had rain earlier. Well, I'm gonna get off of here and get back to some of this stuff that needs my attention. You guys take care of yourselves. Check on your veterans and your military, and try to keep people apprised as far as what's going on with you guys. Be kind of cool to hear from you. Until next time, y'all watch your six.